we are back. What did I miss? Manfred says, I'm proud of you for being proud of Lana's hard work. Okay, hopefully this hard work is going to pay off in a minute. But first we have bugs.
Hello. Welcome to another dev stream. Let's almost get started right away with the terrain. There is one small thing I want to do before that. So what I did in the afternoon a little bit is yesterday we moved everything in terms of configuration for the modules we use into the data directory, basically into the config, right? So we have here the modules and they are sorted in the order that they need to be registered. This will be done by the editor eventually, and the sorting will be done by the editor as well in the right order. So you don't really need to do that or need to know how to order them. It's basically depending on the dependencies. So input module, for example, needs the window, so it needs to be after the graphics module, and etc. So we will sort, or I will sort that basically on editor side when we save this file. That being said, what I did besides that is cool. I'm not sure why you would complain, but okay. Whatever. It's something with the tool of CMake in Visual Studio Code. But what I did besides that is now we have this generated file here, which is something we discussed yesterday. So this gets generated by CMake and it registers all the systems that the engine has, as well as the project system. And it scans for all of them at configuration time of CMake, which is not ideal, but it's fine for now. I'm saying it's not ideal because if you add a new system, the flow would be that you add a new CPP and a new H file, and then you most likely will add it to the dependencies, to the source definitions here. And then you will generate CMake. Then you will have your source file here, and then you will fill out the system class. So basically you will write this into the file. And at that point you would need to generate again CMake for it to pick it up. Which is not ideal. I think it would be nice if that is a pre-build step, the generation of this file of the project. So it doesn't run in CMake, it runs as a pre-build step of the build process. So here in a pre-build event. But for that I would need to move it to Python, and I'm not sure if I like that. If anyone has any other suggestion how to do that, that would be nice. But I think it has to be some sort of, yeah, either batch script or Python or something along those lines. And then if it's already a batch script, I think I prefer Python because it's probably easier to do that parsing in Python. So eventually I think I will move it to a pre-build step, but for now it's good enough. Don't think it's needed to move it. But now that I see that, I think I want to change one thing, which is this. Don't do a new line in between here. Alright, so that's that. And the other thing is that the input system currently doesn't have the correct data. So what we need is input settings .h. I hope, yeah, that should work, right? Or actually we can do input module settings. And then we put that in here, do a pragma once, namespace Onyx input, and then struct input module settings. And then we have an asset ID here. Input map. How is it called? Input actions asset. Oh, wait. Oh, that's interesting. Are we still using that? Oh, we are. Or? No, we are. But it's usually called input action map. Actions map. Yeah, so that's that, and then we need to of course do that in the definition here as well. Modules input, and then here input module settings. And then let's actually sort those. Because why not? All right, let's generate. Is that the correct one? I hope it is. I mean, it looks fine. Can I not forward declare that? Oh no, right, I can't. But it's fine. So and then we do input action system. And this one takes an input system, the asset system, as well as the input action settings. No. Input module settings, that's it. And those are const. And yeah, we register all of that stuff, and then we do or we do reference. Oh, actually, we probably don't need to do. We can do asset system, get asset of input module settings action map that. If that one is valid and input action asset is loading, well, it is loaded. Oh wait, okay, well, that doesn't directly work. Input action default input actions map. If that one is valid and is loaded, then we'd say set action map asset this. Here's default actions map. On get on loaded event, connect. Basically that, I think that should work, right? Hello, what's up? Is that not how it... Oh. Like that. That should work, right? Because that sync is a reference of asset T, which should be compatible, I would say, with that. I'll put it in the binary path for now. So this one is in the binary one, but it's within the solution, right? So you can go here and see it, but it's in the like in the build directory. So it's not in source. But it's good enough. But the thing is, yeah, you kind of missed that. So the thing is, it works now and it picks up all the classes during the configuration time. It's a little bit of magic, but I mean, it's not by any means super complicated. But each time I'm adding a module, I'm calling basically this function where we go through all the public files within the module and we check if we have an engine system inheritance within that file. If we do, we go line by line and basically count the namespaces and the closing namespaces so that we can build like this thing, right? That we can build the fully qualified name for the class, because we need to basically walk the namespace structure. So we do that, and then once we hit the class that actually inherits, we basically build the full path. Yes, it is a little bit fragile. And then yeah, I spit that out basically into a variable in CMake. And then at the end of the configure step, I basically take all the modules I found within the engine, all the modules I found within the project, and produce that config file, which has this as a source, right? So here come the includes of the project, here come the includes of the engine, and then we put them here as well, the actual register cores. But as I said, that has one downside. First of all, yes, parsing C++ is a little bit... I bet there is ways to break that currently. I tried a couple of ways, but didn't manage to break it. But I think I can already imagine maybe 1 or 2 ways to break it. That being said, if you don't try to break it, I think it's hard to break it right now, but it's possible. But the biggest downside I see is that the usual flow, how you would create a new system, usually is that you create a new CPP and a new H file. Colliding variable names. Maybe, yeah, maybe that would be as well a problem. But I think that the biggest downside actually is that it currently runs at CMake configuration time. Because yeah, if I create a new header and a new CPP for the system, like for example for this one, I would create the empty files, then I would add them to CMake in my sources file, right? Then I generate CMake so that I have them in Visual Studio. And then I build the class, and then I would need to regenerate CMake again for it to be picked up. Yeah. Yes, that is as well true, Captain Chica. That is true. It does, but I'm using a global variable to accumulate everything. Because otherwise I have no way of accumulating them. But yeah, the problem is that it's a CMake step, so I need to do 2 CMake configure runs for the system to be picked up. So I think I want to move it into... Yeah, either a shell script, but that sounds like pain, but probably Python, but I just couldn't convince myself to add Python for now as a dependency, just for that step. That's interesting. With a so only if it has a project it does that. Okay. Well, again, I don't think it will stay like that. It will stay like that for now with the CMake script, because it yeah, lets me bypass the need for Python. If I would go with Python, there is a lot of, or like one benefit of it is that I can use the libclang module for Python, which basically does the C++ parsing for me. Yeah, the CMake debugger helped a lot with that function. Because building that was actually not so simple. To be honest, the regex I didn't build. I hate regex. But yeah. Yeah, as I said, probably will go to Python eventually. So we do that, and we definitely do input asset get loaded. Get loaded event. Why would you not work? Oh, because it's a const. Get unloaded event, perfect. Disconnect this. And we basically register this here all the time. Why did Microsoft decide to enable Copilot for typing on my PC? Well, that's when they are trying to tell you you really should move to Linux. I was told and paid to do so. Alright, so that and then engine system factory. In here we do an else if is space of input module settings. Now we put that here, basically input module settings like that. And we get rid of that. And that will be basically this. And then we have the parsing here. Input module settings, actions map is that. No, Windows XP. Windows is pushing still Edge as hard as possible. Because why not? So I think we can almost get away with nothing here. Does that work? It works. That's beautiful. So this is basically empty now, which I'm not sure if we now even still need that, but we still support it. So our entry point for a project is basically empty now, which is kind of crazy. So everything is fully data driven, which is kind of nice. So we could disable a module by just removing it here. Which is as well what we want, because for example for the runtime we don't want to load the editor module, right? So it's kind of nice. Otherwise you would have to do a compile, like a conditional compilation thing here, which as well is not so nice. Would it crash? Have you handled things gracefully? Would it crash in what sense? If I remove one? Well, it would probably crash if I remove the wrong one. Currently. I mean, that's the dream, right? To go there. Just auto main, and then you write the comment what the game should be about, and the engine just parses the comment and it does it. I mean, I'm not sure. It's probably in the current state, I would say it crashes, to be honest. It's not that dynamic yet. I think I can remove this one. For sure, that's like the project. I might be able to remove actually this one. I mean, we can try. So that would be the volume, right? So we don't have a volume anymore. Perfect. And that is because the render graph still references it, which is a little bit of a mistake anyways. So I removed exactly the wrong one. But that is actually something I most likely want to fix anyways. Before, I mean, that's like a issue of that branch, which is something we might actually address today, because it's part of the edit stuff. By the way, here I have example Docker file. For what? What is that? Oh, is it your game or what? Or your engine? For K-Make. Okay, cool. Oh, okay, yeah. Alright. Game, it's better than Rainbow Six. It prints hello world. Well, Rainbow Six can't do that, right? So, has to be better. Alright, so actually I wanted to submit that and then want to move forward with the terrain stuff. So I want to stage this one, that one, not like that. Why is that there? Sort. I never remember the shortcut for it. Or actually all of them. Do I even need algorithm here? I think that should be... Huh? Did I not sort them? Two times sort, of course, does it in the wrong order. Cool. Okay, so I think that should work. Actually, I submitted something today. I didn't look if it actually went through. In the... Don't want to push that. We don't want to push that either. I think that might actually already be it. I don't know, we have this one, yeah. Oh yeah, that, of course. Perfect, I think that should be everything. I hate doing UI from scratch. I got no idea what I'm doing and it's got so messy. Feels okay. Yeah, UI is a special kind of thing. I don't really enjoy it either. You know, Source Tree does not work on Linux, where Source Tree barely works on Windows. So I'm not surprised. It's just that I'm kinda used to it, but yeah, I don't really like it. Created new settings struct for input module. Moved input map loading to input actions module. Is it called input actions module? No, but it will in the future. I think that was it. Yeah, well, yeah, we don't need to comment that. But yeah, UI is always pain. So I needed very long to get somewhat used to ImGUI. And I wouldn't say that I'm still proficient at it, but it's better. I think I... Oh, okay, where? So we should have our terrain here, yeah, perfect. And then I can make that bigger, right? Beautiful. And then we have like... I mean, I can make it a little more. And then we have like the small hills here, right? Perfect. But yeah, painting is a little bit stupid right now because it's like very slow. As you can see, every time I press it freezes a little bit, so that's something I want to address today. I mean, in that case, actually, I cannot address it that easily today. But in the other case, I can, where it's like, let's actually do it. So in the case where we do here 64 like that, but we do 2 of them, right? Or like, let's do 4 of them. In this case, it is where it lags, right? A little bit. You can see, well, a little bit, quite a lot every time we edit. And that's mostly because we are doing an edit for all of them, because I think if I do just one, yeah, the edit is like almost, I mean, it still does spike a little bit, which we might look at as well, because there's definitely potential here as well to improve that. But yeah, and we can as well do the subtraction, I think. Yeah, perfect. So that's a whole, right? So that still all works, but yeah, it's not the fastest. right now. So what I need to do to fix that is twofold, and we will address one today. So currently we send one array. Well, actually it kinda goes hand in hand. Let me think again. Maybe actually it is both at the same time, and I don't think we will be able to finish it today because it's quite well, yeah, it's quite some change. So the idea would be that I build an octree out of the word, and the voxels basically live in there, and we have only one source for the voxels that we ray trace into. And it basically has a pointer to well, in that case, for the voxel itself, right, it doesn't have, it probably doesn't have a pointer to anything. I think I already designed it once, but it's like that long ago again that I kind of forgot it. So we have this, but I don't think that was exactly how I imagined it in the end. I think what it actually was is that we have a child mask, the valid mask. And then the thing is, do we need anything else in that? We definitely need the far. I'm thinking, can I get away with less? So can I get here away with or basically that is fine, and then we have actually we don't need that. I mean, we kind of need it, maybe. Or maybe, no, actually no. Do people serialize binary files with alignment? I wouldn't probably as well. I don't currently, and I wouldn't know what the alignment would help you. Unless you want to read the binary directly onto the struct. Because if you align it, you could probably just take the binary from the file, reinterpret, cast it to your struct, and that would work, right? As long as there are no pointers in that struct, that would work. But yeah, I think that's the only reason why it would work and why you would want alignment. You could most likely just read it as is and reinterpret cast it. I've never done that, so I'm not entirely sure, but in my mind it should work. But it's a bit risky, right? Because you don't know the alignment, like the alignment is not it's not 100% guaranteed on all the compilers to be exactly the same, right? And all platforms. So for example, if you would want to run in 32-bit and 64-bit, then you can't already do that anymore. Or big endian, low endian and stuff like that all plays then as well a role. Even more than already. I mean, big endian and little endian already play a role anyways in binary format, but yeah. Then even more. So those I need. I just don't know if I need those two. I mean, maybe I do. You can pad manually. I think if you have standard layout, then the order should be the same. Networking would make sense. Yeah. Even in networking, we most of the time packed it as tight as possible. Because you don't want to waste any space. You want to make your package as small as possible. So I wouldn't know why you would want to waste stuff on alignment. Don't really see a reason. I mean to deep my files aligned. Well, yeah, it's fine, I guess. But again, I don't think... I mean, you're wasting a little bit of space, right? Will it make everything like that much bigger? Probably not. It's like in the bits and bytes where you like waste a lot of like space, but so be it, I guess, right? So that's 8, 16, 17. Let's do 64 minus 17. 47, of course. I could have calculated that myself. Data. God damn it. A1. So you need a big printer. Okay, so let's see, where's sparse octree? We have that. Actually, no, let's keep it split, right? Is far child or is for children is for chunk is for voxel data. You never know, you might need to print the file so you can debug it. God damn it. Get out. No, just kidding. So volume terrain system. We have the active chunks, and we probably have like one buffer handle, which is now the voxel, like yeah, octree basically, volume octree. And the thing is, we probably initialize the volume octree at a certain size, which I'm not sure yet how, like what the size should be. Sparse volume sparse octree. Can we do an estimated guess? So the resolution is like one thing, right? That's our smallest. Well, actually, it's not our smallest. Hold on. How do we do that? It's our chunk size divided by our resolution is the smallest thing, right? But the question is, do I keep that? Maybe we actually add instead of that F32. Do I want an F32? No, let's do a U32. Voxel minimum voxel size. In let's do centimeters. It's actually really no, let's do 10 here. Well, let's actually start not so insane. 50. So that would be basically this. Well, not this. Word sparse octree. 16. How much would that be? Buffer size. And that times 3, right? Well, actually not times 3, but times that. Right. And that is not the chunk size, that is... So that's in meters. So that is basically times 1 divided by... Well, actually 100, right? Divided by settings. Resolution. Or? Oh, actually not times, divided. So that's 100 centimeters. Yeah, that should be, I think, fine. Voxels per meter. A meter, 2 centimeter. Why do you count voxels per meter? It was always 1 block per meter, where maybe not in the future. The plan is to get lower than that. And with an octree we can go lower than that. I know that because I already had it lower than that in Unreal. And 16 pixels per meter. Is that what is used in Minecraft or what? Are you giving me metrics of are you giving me the god damn it, I can't speak today. The Minecraft. Yeah. No, we are not doing Minecraft here. Even though it's as well volumetric. Well, that is, yeah, quite big, I would say. How much is that? That's actually kind of big. Not gonna lie. But I mean, the word is kind of big as well. Careful, careful with what you say. I mean, I think that is still possible to allocate, right? But it's quite a lot of memory. But then again, I put like a huge word size, so... But we probably... That's already a very, very... pessimistic view, because that's basically the whole world would be fully divided like that, which is unrealistic. So let's do 25% of that for now. We could probably estimate how much we actually need, but yeah. Okay, then we don't do it like that, then we do it divided by 4. Take that. Oh, shoot. Wanted to know how much... Well, I can do that here. If I still have it open. No, I don't. Oh, I still have it. Divided by 4. Ah, that looks better. That looks reasonable in terms of size. Okay, let's do that. Let's allocate that and hope we fit it. Volume sparse octree. And then that one is basically buffer size. And we just do that. Well, but we only allocate that if we actually have to do it. Volume octree. So that will take some time until we actually have everything. Although maybe actually not so much, but let's see. Maybe it doesn't actually take so much time. I'm not quite sure how I want to do the subdivision though. For now we could do it in one go, but it would be really nice if we can maybe push commands here onto the graphics thread. And I would say probably we divide probably I dispatch on like a grid of, let's say, 512, 512, 512 or something like that. So I divide this distance here or this one, right? Depending on which one we take. And I divide that by 512 and then we dispatch the octree generation in that dimension. It's probably the smartest. Or I could even do... hold on. I could even do that with dispatch. Eight or something like that. And we always subdivide at least to that lever. Because that's very likely. I mean, not to 8, but to... is that level 2? Where we have 8 children? First we have... No, actually, yeah, to 16, right? 16 is level 2? Yes, I think. And then from there on, each thread basically does its own stuff. Even that, I mean, if our terrain is not very well balanced, then this is kind of starving a couple of them. So maybe there's a smarter approach. I mean, maybe actually... Maybe it's a two-step process as well, where one step actually just does a quick estimate, and then we actually subdivide. I don't know. So I create the buffer here. Perfect. And then let's do scene frame data volume. Oh yeah, volume sparse octree basically. Terrain. Terrain component, okay. That's what I wanted to do. Oh god, why is that M underscore? Yeah. Too little too late, we will fix it later. So we put that there. And then we init. And let's actually get rid of the voxel grid per chunk. Which is a little bit of a problem. Because I'm not quite sure how to handle that part yet. But okay. We will deal with that. Oh, that will be actually getting the neighbors for a volume for an octree node will be. Or do I want that actually? Hold on, maybe I don't want that. Yeah, probably I don't want that. Ah, okay. Well, actually, no, it's fine, probably. But yeah, we most likely need to order them very smart, the octree nodes, so that we find our neighbor. God damn it. Volume terrain system. No, that's not where I wanted to go. God damn it. Generate mesh paths. That's where I wanted to go. Actually, let's remove that. Because that is why we crashed when I removed the terrain stuff. So I think we want to move that away and into a separate thing. So that we... I mean, for now we can keep it, I guess. Although it doesn't really do anything if I keep it. Actually, I think I can push... Not sure where I want to do that, but basically I could do something like that. Graphics shader handle. We only need to do that if we actually created stuff. Currently we don't load shaders on demand, which is a problem. Wait, if I go out of scope, then everything is gone, right? That's funny. Ah, that's... nah. Don't like that. Yeah, I need to think about that a little bit. How I would want to do that with the shaders. And realistically, they should be as well. They should be as well on demand, basically assets like other stuff. Which now I'm not sure if that's even worth it what I'm doing. Maybe we leave the generate mesh paths for now, even though it's not the nicest thing. But that one can die. Oh, well, maybe not directly die. Hold on. I think I need to remove it from the render graph. But yeah, the generate would then not be that per se anymore. I mean, kinda, but not entirely. Oh yeah, actually it would probably be that we do a like an indirect dispatch, right? Yeah, I think that would most likely be the case. So yeah, I think actually, hold on. I want the grid of the voxels to be like one huge grid, I would assume. Oh yeah, and I didn't do that yet, but it will have a resolution. Yeah, I think I need to actually write that down a little bit more concrete. But basically the ocg should be distance based. I will be so bad in drawing that. Okay, where? How do I even draw that to begin with? So if that would be from top, right? from the top view and the player is somewhere here, well, in the center, then I would evenly subdivide like close to the player. That was not how I would want it. So around here I would have like basically a very densely subdivided oak tree. And then the further out we get, it's like less tessellated, right? So that way we automatically get LOD. Of course it doesn't go in that other cube, but yeah. So the estimate of like the 50 centimeters doesn't really matter actually what I calculated, because here the distances for the voxels is like way bigger, right? I mean, it's in the horizontal as well, of course. And then basically I would, one chunk would be one of those blocks, and we subdivide and we send that to the GPU basically to mesh. So a chunk doesn't have a fixed size anymore, it's dynamic. And yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So the word oak tree contains the volume data for the chunks in like one go, maybe? Probably. Oh, that will be a pain to implement though, not gonna lie. That will be not so simple. That will be another couple of streams at least. That will be a bigger topic. I mean, the static one is maybe not so hard to get correct. But then as soon as the player moves, that is a little bit more complicated. Alright, but it's very hot today. I think I will call it a day. Not a lot of progress. Well, I mean, I did the volume stuff, the module stuff. We finished that. But yeah, I think I need to prepare a bit better for this. Get like a concept on paper. How that should work. Actually, it's quite okay outside, but it's raining, so I cannot open it. But today we had like, I think 35 degrees. So Yeah, it is. I mean, yeah. It's not the end of the world, but yeah. I'm as well a little bit tired. I was at the dentist today, so that is why. I hate the dentist. Side note. I think I need to do it chunk by chunk. This thing that well, no pun intended, because there are chunks here. But so first I should try to get the volumetric octree done. Basically, where I sample the current function into it. Based on the distance to the player. I would say. Or maybe I can do that in full resolution and just the chunks are in... we will see. I guess I could do it at full resolution once and see how big that actually turns out to be. But yeah, we will do that tomorrow. That's actually a good goal for tomorrow. So tomorrow the goal would be write the compute shader, even though it might not be optimized. So maybe we do it in like a compute shader that runs in a single work group, single instance that just tries to fill the volumetric octree. And then we can see how big that would be for a word of the size that we currently have. Yeah. Because that's already a good estimate, I would say. The size we currently have. Alright. That's it for me though. Thank you very much for joining. Kinda short stream. I hope I can do longer streams. Well, probably I can on the weekend at least, for sure. Yeah. Thank you. Have a good night. What's the topic? What's the topic of what? How hot it was the topic. But then again, I'm not in Barcelona, so there's at least that. So I'm not burning there. Yeah. Thank you for joining. Hope we see each other tomorrow. Not very productive today. Have a great rest of your evening. Bye bye.